You know, folks, I just did another video over on the Old Jarheads Jeep channel about electromagnetic pulse and lightning strikes and all that kind of stuff. And I'm about ready to do that to my truck. As I said in my last video, I paid for these EMP Shield devices myself. I'm not sponsored by EMP Shield, but they're a great company and I wanted to share with you what they do. EMP Shield is a company that makes a device that can protect you from lightning strikes as well as electromagnetic pulse. That's what EMP is, electromagnetic pulse. And EMPs actually can come from the sun. So, might be some crazy talk going on here, but folks, back in 1859, there was something that happened that was identified by a man named Carrington. And it is now commonly referred to as the Carrington event. And what it was a massive solar flare was directed straight at the earth, zapped the earth, telegraph lines burned, it burned telegraph offices, and it just shut down all the telegraphs. No big deal, right? Who cares? They only had telegraphs, right? Well, today, folks, everything's electronic. An EMP basically is a massive energy burst from the sun. They call those coronal mass ejections, that when it hits the earth, it just goes to the antennas. And antenna is any wires or any conductive material like chassis of your truck, the wiring in your truck, etc. The power lines, your house, you name it. And what it can do is destroy all the electronics in your truck because these electronics are too sensitive. When I was in telecommunications, we used to wear these wristband devices that you could plug into a ground. They were called ESD wrist straps, electrostatic discharge. So an ESD, like, you know, you rub your feet on the carpet and you zap your friend with your finger. That's like 60,000 volts. It's just no amps. But there's enough power in that little zap from your finger to destroy a microprocessor. So, working on sensitive telecommunications equipment, we had to stand on anti-static mats, wear anti-static strips, and protect all of that equipment. And if you've ever seen those bags that, you know, like your graphics card for your computer came in, it was like this dark kind of black bag. That's an ESD bag. It's a bag that will protect that card from electrostatic discharge. Well, the principle is basically the same. It's just that from the solar flare, you get an electromagnetic pulse, which is so powerful that it will knock out all electronics, unless that electronics doesn't have enough wiring in it to be a big enough antenna to absorb that energy. So like your cell phone might actually survive. The cell phone tower won't. So you can't use your cell phone for anything but maybe taking pictures. It'll be a glorified camera till the battery runs out because you won't be able to charge a battery. So you're in a situation where if a big solar flare happens, it will destroy the electronics in your vehicle. And if you are 1,000 miles from home, well, guess what? You're stuck. You better move in somewhere because you're not traveling anywhere, at least for a year or two. Imagine having to go a year or two or longer in your home without electricity, without any electronics, without a running vehicle, unless you got a vehicle that's over, 40 years old and really needs to be about 1975 or earlier, because that's when they started putting electronics in vehicles. You got to go back when it was points ignition and there wasn't any computers or anything else controlling a vehicle. Those will still run. Clean the points up, boom, away you go. But an electronic vehicle, it's going to get nuked, folks. And I don't use that word to scare you about something else, but the truth is a nuke lit from, like, say a weather balloon at about 50 miles up in the atmosphere will do exactly the same thing. Terrorism can do that. There's a book out there called 1 Second After. I read that book over 10 years ago. It was written in the 90s. And it's actually about acts of terrorism and how terrorists, if they got a hold of nukes, could actually light them off up above in the atmosphere, and it would take out all electronics throughout the entire United States. It would take like 3 of them, but they could do it. China or Russia, they could do it, folks. So, I mean, that stuff can happen. It's a real possibility. Personally, I'm more worried about the sun because the sun's unpredictable. Mother Nature does what Mother Nature wants to do. The sun's not going to wait for you, right? So, we're going to put an EMP Shield device on the truck. I already did it on the Jeep. Now we're going to do it on the truck. So now, I'm going to be hauling my truck and camper, pulling the Jeep. I'm going to go 1,000 miles north and 1,000 miles back. Whether I get hit by lightning or an EMP happens, guess what? I'm still gonna make it home. So let's get her done. EMP Shield. We're gonna get it done. Now, Looking in here, I can see I've got a ground right there. I can go positive and negative on the battery. I may have to do like I did with the Jeep and set that EMP shield up here somewhere for now until I can figure out another place to mount it. Though I think back here on the firewall, there's some room back here that maybe we could mount it. Looking over here, yeah, there's probably room right here, and I may do it here, but then you got to get this fuse box out. And you know, if you want to be able to open that up, you don't want to have something in the way. So I would have to test the idea that you have to be able to get in here and open this up. And so probably can't put it here or here. Probably not there. This battery needs to get cleaned up. Look at that corrosion right there. This battery may not be that good. So for now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to mount it here temporarily. That way at least the truck is protected on the trip, and when I get back I can try to figure out where's a better place to mount it. So for now, let's get this done. Pretty straightforward. Got your little box. It's got a glue strip on the bottom. It's actually Velcro, so we'll glue it down to that battery, I think, and then just your wiring. Zip, strap it up, and away you go. Yeah, that'll fit right there. Same idea. We'll just lock her down on here, and then we run it into the ground, and we're done. Pretty simple. And there's your negative side of the battery, positive to the positive side of the battery, and of course your ground wire attached to the ground down there. And we got a green light here. Green is good. Now this might seem just as dirty as it was before, or maybe the truck looks a little dirtier. That's because when I put this in was 1900 miles ago. So something to bear in mind. But that's it. That's all it is. Now I do need to put this somewhere else. I'm thinking maybe over here on the firewall, but for now it'll sit right here safely, so we're gonna leave it right there. So yes, 1900 miles, working good. And if that flaming ball of fire, which is actually that way right now, has a bad attitude, well, guess what? We should be okay. So, without further ado, let's continue. There you go, folks. EMP protected. So, lightning strikes, solar flares, crazy people with balloons lighting off nuclear bombs way the heck up there in the atmosphere. Either way, we should be able to keep on trucking. Now, the way I understand EMP to work, and I've seen some testing, when it hits, everything's going to shut down because your EMP shield is constantly recycling that energy into the chassis until it completely dissipates. Once it's completely dissipated, then you can start your truck back up. That's how these are supposed to work. So check out EMP Shield. There's a link down below. I do have an affiliate program with them. Again, they didn't sponsor the video. I bought these devices myself. As an affiliate, I'm able to give you a $50 discount. These things run over $300, and with a $50 discount, that's going to help you out quite a bit. It's about 15%, folks. That's a great discount. So if you're worried about electromagnetic pulse, if you're worried about, you know, solar flares or the other kind that come, you know, when somebody lights off something in the atmosphere, or if you're worried about lightning strikes, which is a real possibility, and I'm going to be talking about that on my sawmill soon, so stick around for that. But meanwhile, all right, folks, it's getting warm out, so I got fans running and everything else. But you know what? That EMP shield went in so quick. I did my wife's Jeep too. Yes, I planned on doing her Jeep. It was one of those things that I wanted to get done. I hate the idea that she might be at work and maybe an EMP happens and she's 10 or 12 miles away. Now what is she gonna do? She's gonna have to walk home a long ways. That's kind of scary. Guess what? I'm not gonna worry about it now. She's got an EMP shield in there. I'll have to find a better place to mount it still, but for now, it's protected. I'll get brackets, I'll figure something out. I'll let you know when that happens. So, anyway, I got more stuff to do. So, thanks for watching. Got more coming? Check out the next video in case you haven't seen it, and I'll see you guys again soon. The old Jarhead out.